Hi, my name is Stacy Rothgeb. I'm an MBA student at the University of Denver and attending the South by Southwest conference. This morning I spent an hour in the Creative Industries Expo. My motivation for going there was looking for new ideas and technology that I didn't know. And so I think I'm unique from some of the other students in my course where I am mid-career, so I have a lot of knowledge about a specific topic, which is energy efficiency and performance of buildings. But I think there's a lot of new and innovative technologies out there that I don't have that much exposure to. So I enjoy walking expo floors, trying to kind of get a feel for what is new and coming and the new ideas and looking at how that can apply to buildings. So for this floor, there was all kinds of technologies there. Some of the highlights of it were, I guess my favorite thing that I saw was a spinning LED projector, and it was kind of fun because it made it look like you had this this kind of hologram of a customer service, this person there. It was very real looking, but it was obviously digital, and it kind of appeared to be floating in midair. You could kind of get behind it because if you took a picture of it, not a video, but a picture, you'd see the actual strings of the LEDs that were spinning. Anyway, it was an interesting application, and I could see where it could be used more often. Does it have an application for buildings? Maybe not. I mean, if you're in real estate, I think there's this idea of a sales associate. So there could be some kind of virtual reality interaction or AI feedback where you have a digital sales representative there. It was interesting. It was the most interesting thing I would say I saw. Another booth was these pods, these quiet rooms, and the only reason why it caught my attention is because Enroll actually owns some, and we use them because we have a very open office space. So seeing someone trying to sell them and going, yeah, we bought it. It was also nice because we have a bunch of single person kind of phone booth looking ones, and they showed like huddle rooms that could fit multiple people. I could really see a use for that in my current employer. Some other observations I made is that it seemed like a lot of the technologies were coming out of Asia. The demographic in the room was not as diverse as I would have expected. It was a very high prevalence of obviously international people presenting their technologies. Maybe this is just a new audience for me being South by Southwest, unlike a lot of the builder shows that I have attended in the past, or the energy performance shows I have attended. It was a little more diverse, but it was just something that kind of stood out to me. Some more technologies I saw, there was one, it was a hug jacket where it was like all these cables and actuators, so you put the jacket on and it gives you the impression of being hugged. I was a little skeptical of that. It was interesting, but I was skeptical of it because I think so much of the response to being hugged is an emotional response. So is the physical response enough, to fill that in? But it was interesting that someone thought that was a need out there, that there's a market out there that would need a substitute for a real human hug. The one thing I did see that was related to buildings is hemp insulation, which is a bioproduct that is being used as a building material. I know there's been some talks on it. I didn't happen to make it because I know quite a bit about hemp insulation. I know how it performs. I think it has a lot of advantages from a carbon impact, but it's always good to see how building materials present themselves. And basically they had a mock-up of a section of a house where you could look through the walls and see what the insulation was. They had samples on the table where you could kind of push and, really get that feeling for it. So I think I talked a little bit about my perspective already, that, I have a lot of specific knowledge, and my interest in going to an expo of this nature is to figure out what I don't know and look for new ideas and things that could be applied. There's another one that I need to put on my list. Was they did have some robots floating around serving coffee. We deal a lot in my research with the industrialized construction. So it's that application of industrialization to the construction industry. A lot of it is looking at ways to address a lot of the labor barriers that we have, so that we can't find good skilled labor in construction anymore. And so they really are looking at automation. So any example that I see where automation and robotics and things of that nature is being used successfully, I find interesting. So seeing the robot, roaming the exhibit floor and delivering coffee was yet another example that, yes, I think this is in our future. So how does this impact me? I would say overall, I was generally underwhelmed by this expo compared to many I've seen. I think a lot of it may have been that this just isn't my industry, where what is new and innovative to people who are more in either a service industry or an entertainment industry wasn't as impressive to me. Some of it, though, is I talked to a number of the people manning the booths, and I was pretty unimpressed with the level of knowledge that they had. There was someone there that what they had was a standalone device that had PV in it and LED lights, and I guess it had a signal in there, so it was like emergency response. So you had this thing that was roughly the size of like a yoga mat rolled up, and you put it out there and you could send for help. But when I started asking this rather young person about the specifications and like how long would it work and how far away and what kind of GPSs they were using, and he started using terms like, well, this could be a microgrid, and I was like, well, tell me more about that. Why is it a microgrid? How are you going to connect it together? What kind of load is it going to cover? He couldn't answer any of it. And so a little disappointed that the folks on the floor were not more knowledgeable, especially if, I think I've seen a very heavy interest at South by about entrepreneurship and startups. And, the people I talked to definitely didn't have the knowledge to convince me to invest or buy. And so it's just interesting. I will be intrigued. I actually think I might try to hit one of the other expos and see if it's a comparison. Just this was creativity, as maybe they were looking for more, just thinking outside the box kind of ideas and not so much ready for market. But at the end of the day, it's always a good experience to see what people are doing, both the good and the bad and the limits. So that it wasn't anything too innovative tells me a lot too, that it reinforces a lot of the things I think of as that we're really just reusing the same tools and trying to find new ways to apply them.